Buongiorno Bianconeri, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alberto. It is January 31st. It is the final day of the Mercato. We are going to take a look at that in terms of news and a couple tracks that were there available for Juventus to maybe capitalize on and what ended up going down. We're going to take a look at the reasoning in terms of the first penalty that hit Juventus, as yesterday Figc put out their 34-page document on why they were penalized. We'll take a look at that, and then of course the club that's getting set to face Lazio in the Coppa Italia on Thursday. All right, we'll take a look at the players back, how Max Allegri is feeling, and we'll take a look at what of the ex-players of Juventus said post Monza match. All right, all that and more. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, right out of the gate, if you are a diehard Juve fan, all right, or even you support someone else but just want to be kept in the loop on everything Juventus, this is the channel for you, so make sure you smash that subscribe button, all right? And everybody, like the video. Let's get maximum amount of likes as it all helps the channel. Now, let's get to the news. So yesterday, again, Figc put out their 34-page document on why Juventus was penalized. Apparently, the reasons why we waited this long to find out why we got penalized, and it was largely underwhelming. It is the same dribble and nonsense that we believed all along, all basing off no clear and definitive rules. All right, this is translated from one of those 34 pages, and it states Juventus planned capital gains regardless of the identification of the player itself, but for final economic value to be achieved. Guess what? You just explained every single transfer that every single club tries to tackle. They are, yes, planning for capital gains, all right? And again, show me the clear, definitive rules and guidelines on what you can and cannot sell a player for. The whole thing is laughable. Juve has now 30 days to appeal this matter. Okay, now what's going to be important to remember is that they cannot appeal, even though that they've stated their stance is obvious, illogical reasoning for their penalty. They can only appeal procedure. Okay, so that's going to be what's important to remember here. So as far as getting the points back and whatnot, there is a confidence coming out from Juve's camp that they are going to be able to overturn the first 15-point penalty. All right, what they're banking on is essentially that there was a deadline missed by the prosecutors by around 15 to 20 days, somewhere in that range, that should be able to make what they are using dismissed, and that's wiretaps. Even this black book apparently that they found of Cherubini's, where it was stating what Paratici was doing and he was against it, whatnot. Essentially, they're hitting Juve saying that no, there are no definitive rules on player values and whatnot, but because you spoke about it in wiretaps and wrote about it in black books, you are therefore guilty. So that's essentially where it stands right now. We will see how the appeals go, but again, there's a confidence from Juve's camp that they'll be able to overturn the first 15-point penalty. However, there is another 15 to 20-point penalty that we are expecting in the salary case. All right, so it's going to be interesting, and it's far from over, Juventini. We have to take this thing one day at a time. In terms of the Super League, a Madrid Court of Appeals ruled today that UEFA and FIFA are to not interfere with anything that the Super League does. So they ruled in favor of the Super League. Now, where it stands, well, Juventus, we know where we stand. We have no leverage, and we cannot afford to make any more enemies. So I would expect Juve to back off. But one of the things that is yet to be determined is that Florentino Perez always remains strong in his stance that there was a signed document from all these clubs, and when those clubs pulled off, when the pressure came from UEFA, that they are owing the other clubs that remained financial reimbursement for a penalty. All right, so that's going to be interesting to see if that develops now. But again, never a dull moment around world football, and especially Juventus. All right, now the final day of the Mercato had a couple tracks to follow for Juventus. Pellegrini going to Lazio, which again, no signs of at this moment, but there was an opportunity for Juventus to get Cambiasso back for the final 6 months of the season and 6 months early from loan on Bologna, because Bologna was going after Kyriakopoulos from Sassuolo, and that should have been what broke free Cambiasso heading back to Juventus. All right. However, Bologna did issue a statement saying no deal. We are going to keep Cambiasso for the final 6 months. Look, this has frustrated some Juventini out on social media and everything, but a deal is a deal. They are entitled to him for the whole season. They did not have to break that, regardless if they brought in another player or whatnot. All we can do, rather than bitch and moan, is remember that, and then next time we try to work a deal with Bologna, we remind them of what they did. That's all we can do. Now, the club's getting ready to face Lazio in the Coppa Italia on Thursday. Right now, from what I'm hearing, it could be a deserted stadium because there's still a lot of tickets available. I hope that changes, and I hope we can pack the stadium and support the squad. All right. As far as the players, Chiesa, Cuadrado, and Pogba will be good for Thursday. Max Allegri is questioning everything, however. Okay. Now, I guess you can know what it feels like to be a Juventino right now, because we have gone full circle with this second defeat to Monza, and we're right back where we started, and we're questioning everyone again. We're questioning the players. We're questioning Max Allegri. Max Allegri has serious doubts about the mentality of this team, something I also spoke to on the last podcast, saying, hey, look, that first turnaround we did was massive, but can you do it multiple times in a season? That is an extremely tough ask, regardless of who the manager and the players are. Have they given up? I hope not, okay? But Max is questioning the mentality and what these players coming back from injury can actually offer and how much they can offer. Well, Max, it didn't stop you from playing De Sciglio right from the outset against Monza. So get to it and play your best guys, all right? I thought Pogba should have been brought in against Monza. Let him play against Lazio in the Coppa Italia, right? It is what it is. You spent earlier on in the season complaining that these guys weren't available to you. Now they're back. Even if it's half hour, 40 minutes, use them. All right? Use them. Now, ADP spoke and Tacchinardi spoke about this post-Monza defeat and everything. And ADP just essentially said that Max does have to take responsibility. The team seems lost. All right? And he said Monza's defeat was a stab in the heart to Juventini, especially after playing a good game against Atalanta. He's not wrong. Tacchinardi continues when asked about this minus 15-point deduction and affecting the players and them giving up. Tacchinardi said the exact same thing I said on the podcast. Bullshit excuses. We don't need to make excuses. We need men right now. We need to fight through this and show who we are. And he said the same. That is not an alibi, all right, the 15-point deduction. You can't worry about that. You can always only worry about the job you do on the pitch. Plain and simple, all right? That is essentially it. And, yeah, that wraps up your news, everybody. Tough times for Juve. We have to push through, expecting another point penalty, but hopefully overturning the first. Who knows what's going to happen? Like I've been saying all season long, one day at a time, all right? But I'll be back tomorrow with another daily update video. You know the drill, though. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I want to know what you all think about this laughable FIGC reasoning and what you think about Bologna keeping Cambiasso not working with us. What are your thoughts on everything, Juve? Do you agree with Del Piero and Tacchinardi? Drop it in the comment section, and I'll be back tomorrow. And then, of course, Thursday, we're going to be live for the Coppa Italia match day at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, all right? Fino alla fine, forza Juve. Ciao tutti.